opportunities. And nowadays, high opportunities prevail in value adding. So it's not enough just to produce, just like our parents have been doing, because at the end of the day, the people who make a lot of profit are not the produce.
Go ahead, sir.
To the product.
Go ahead. Please, everybody, can you mute your mics, please?
Yeah, it will help us so that we can flow.
Please.
Okay.
Yeah, go
so
ahead,
what we are emphasizing, okay, thank you. What we are emphasizing, therefore, is the addition of value to something that we have already been producing. But for it to fetch higher value on the market, for it to reward us handsomely, we must make sure that it fetches a bigger price. And basically, it will be done through value addition. So my focus is basically going to be on value addition, and I will anchor using one example of maybe groundnuts, so that we can appreciate and understand the concept and be able to look at that. Before I'm displaying an example of products that we're talking about, historically, Malawians have been producing, and you can see there, and this is raw produce. They have onions, they have just taken them from their farms. They have some vegetables and the like. You can also see in another picture here, they have tomatoes, they have kachewere. I don't know, what else are they displaying there? Anyone who can be able to see? What else are these people? You see beans? Yes. Anything else?
Batata.
Onions. Yeah. Onions, tomatoes.
Apples.
I see. People can see. Thank you very much. So you can see this is just raw. Okay. There is no anything that they have done to the product. So that's what we're trying to say, discourage, to say these days we need to do more than just offering something like this. Because if it's offered just like this, it doesn't fetch much. So I will try to explain what that means. And here the smiling lady, what is she selling?
Mangoes.
Mangoes. Yeah. And we can see now in Malawi, we are in the mango season. And this is a pure example that we can also show. Come February, March, these mangoes will disappear and we'll have forgotten about mangoes. Should this be the way to go? No, you'll find out that this is not the way to go. Nowadays, the trend is, can we do something, maybe to process these to add value, and not only to add value, but also to preserve them so that we can be able to have them available at a later stage. So basically, that's what this presentation will focus on, basically, to make sure that we can be able to add value. So how can entrepreneurs become more successful? There are about 6 points that are given here, but I will just run through the 5, but concentrate on the first one because that's the major focus. But we're saying for entrepreneurs today to be more successful in whatsoever field you are in, the first thing is try to add value to the commodity that you have produced. We're going to look at some practical examples in due course where we can as well appreciate and how value is added, what forms of value. And there have been some researches that have also been done and published where we can also learn something from those research findings. And instead of us going back to do the research, the research has already been done. We just need to take those recommendations and apply. So the one who take up the risk to apply something new, I will be the one to first reap out of that. The moment other people join, so oh, this thing is marketable, people like this, you have already eaten a lot of profits. So adding value is number one, and it's something that is very, very serious. Then we are also talking about marketing directly to consumers. You know, for example, the farmers at home, they produce and they wait for somebody to come from town as a vendor to buy. Nowadays, we have a lot of these people from, is it Burundi? People talk about them. Burundi abwera, Burundi ugulapa. But can we really think deep into that? What is driving them from traveling all that distance? Maybe they come from Lilongwe or from Doha, but they will go to Mchinji, Walilanji. I once went to Walilanji to find there were plenty of sacks of groundnuts, but they were telling, oh, this is for the Burundian, he has bought. Okay? Why? They have something which they know we are missing out. But can we do it ourselves? Where do they take that groundnut to? Where do they sell it to? Can we go there and sell ourselves? You'll find out that we're going to eat what this Burundian was going to get. So marketing direct to consumers, alternative enterprises. Again, Malawians, we are fond of venturing into something that somebody is also into. Somebody is buying kachewere from Deza, let me also go to Deza and buy kachewere. So 2 days, the whole market is flooded. Everybody is going to Deza to get kachewere. That's not on. We need to think of alternative means, alternative enterprises. If people are going for kachewere, is it that they only go for kachewere? You'll find out that no, they're looking for something from kachewere. Can you find an alternative? Then you start marketing that. Another area would be niche markets. Now here, in case some people have done some marketing, let's get this clear. By niche marketing, we're not necessarily talking about a small market. Focusing, but on a market that you want to make sure that you exploit that market very much. When these banks like Opportunity, now it's my banks, they were just coming in. They had the very, very tough competition against well-established big banks like National Bank of Malawi, Standard Bank, but they managed to penetrate the market, and now they are competing maybe neck to neck with these big banks simply because they had to find out how can we enter this market. And they noted that, no, let's concentrate on a small part of the market, or rather one segment of the market, which we're looking at as a niche. And to them, they found out that, oh, most rural people are unbanked. Let's go to the rurals. Then they started going into rural areas, go to Mponera, go to Waliranji, go this. You find that these banks were there, when National Bank and Standard Bank were not there. And then they started even opening branches or agencies in council markets, just to make sure that they are very close to the customer, so that when they sell, they can easily walk to the bank and bank their money. In the process, they had so many customers, they have grown, now they are big banks. So the other area would be to focus on a specific area. Say, let me concentrate on this. I know this side, there is this, but I will only focus on this. So in the process, you'll end up growing and you become large. By volume, you will find that now they can compete neck to neck with this because they concentrated on niche markets. So that's another area that we really need to exploit. In the area we are in, can we find a niche where we can just concentrate on and offer our services and our products in those particular areas? You'll find out that we will make headway. Sale experience. At this point, what we're trying to say is, when you are talking about the product, for example, I'll go back to the main example I'll be using throughout this presentation, which is the groundnuts. If you just look at the groundnut itself, people buy groundnut. Some of us like it eating roasted, eating it, in different forms. I will touch them later. But what I want to say is, there is something more that can be done. And in this case, they're talking about an experience. Okay, so in this case, it means you are not just focusing on the product, but you are also focusing on the experience. For example, if you are talking about selling pork, my apologies if maybe on religious grounds, maybe it can be offensive to some, but let's take it as general. I'm not I'm trying to be religious conscious here, just an example. Okay, anyone else can be able to get pork, roast it at their home. But you'll find out that what sometimes may lack would be the company. It would taste even better when you are eating it together with your friends. Maybe you have knocked off from work, instead of just driving home, you stop somewhere and then you eat that roasted pork. And that experience, that togetherness is an added value to the same pork. As an individual, even this roasted groundnut I'm talking about, you can buy the groundnuts and do the roasting it on your own at home. But you find out that you'll still be looking gloomy and the like. But when you are in a group, it's like it's adding flavor. You are chatting there, maybe you're talking about a wedding, or maybe it's a wedding meeting as you are doing there, and then somebody is circulating these roasted groundnuts. You know, that experience, togetherness, the product has come in, but it has added a certain flavor because of that experience that, no. I think you have ever heard people, let's see, this weekend, let's go, the same Mtungana, they can do it at home, but that experience of being together in the open and the like, it adds something. So in that, it means you are able to add value and you are able to sell more. So that's the sale experience. And then the brand your product. The products in Malawi, mostly we are trying just to sell them as groundnuts. Oh, I'm selling this, but let it be branded so that it can be unique. You know, we're not talking about a brand, it's a name. All right. We all know products by their names. Currently, I know you are accessing this presentation either through a laptop, maybe it's an Acer, maybe it's a Dell, maybe it's a Toshiba. Those are brand names, but the product is a computer. Maybe your smartphone, it could be a Huawei, it could be your Samsung, it could be a Nokia. But those brands are, you know, they give uniqueness. Somebody will say, what Samsung, what phone are you using? A Samsung, very nice phones. What are you using? Oh, I'm using a Motorola, I'm using this. So when you get a good experience, you'll always remember what product am I using. So our products also need to be branded so that people can be able to recognize them and differentiate them from the rest of the other products. Then service, management, or convenience. Apart from the basic product itself, add a certain service. I've just given you, maybe you are selling pork. You are not just selling it, you are also roasting it. You are also applying some spices to it. So when people are buying those pieces, you find out that the same 1 kg, which you would have bought at 2,000, now when you are selling it as roasted and selling it with some spices added to it, it can fetch the same 1 kg. Extra costs in terms of spices, maybe the roasting materials and what like, but at the end of the day, you find out that you are still making more profit than just selling it as just meat. So we are talking of adding a service, because you are going to be serving these people. Oh, sit down, I'll bring it to you. Oh, this, you know, and all that. That's what we're saying. So as I said, my focus will be on adding value. But you know, if you go through the rest of this in detail, you'll be able to succeed. Value addition is the process of changing the product's value by changing its current place. So you can see here, I was talking about the groundnuts I found in Walilanji, and people, the Burundian was going there to buy. The mere fact that a farmer can get that from Walilanji, bring it to Lilongwe, they have started adding value to it because it has changed the place. Here in Lilongwe, we are able to access pineapples. But basically, we find out that the pineapple growing districts in Malawi are basically Mlanje, Toro, and the like. It means they are being transported. So this act of transporting it is adding value. You have just taken it from one place to the other. Its value has changed. It's something unique. Let me share you this, a personal experience. At one point I was in the United States. I stayed there for 2 years. The other day when I went into a shop, a very big shop, I don't remember whether it was Walmart or it was Fiesta or what, but one of those big chain stores that sell groceries. I was so happy to see on the shelf Chombe tea made in Malawi. And of all the tea that I was taking, this time around said, this is the tea from my home country. Oh, I didn't expect I could find it on a shelf in the United States. Just by that product being there, the value, when I looked at the price there and asked, what is the price of maybe 150 gram pack of Chombe tea in Malawi? It was totally different. Why? Because of the change in place. Because maybe it has moved to a place where it is in high demand, but the product is scarce, it's not available. Look at even these airlines. If you book the airlines from Middle East, compare them with the airlines maybe from here, Africa, or from America, you'll notice that these are a bit cheaper. Why? Because oil to them is not that scarce as it is in these other countries. So because one of the major costs in the aviation industry is the cost of fuel, to them it's a bit lower. So they take that to a different place, it fetches a higher value. So apart from the change in place, time, I think I've combined in the explanation. Maybe it could be out of season at that particular time, and therefore it will fetch a greater value. I just showed you the pictures there of tomatoes. They could be in season, but at a different time, they'll be out of season. So if only you can process them, you can put them in a way, you can sell them at a time when they are scarce, you find that it is fetching more money. But we're talking about we have added value to it. Or any form of characteristic to you are changing the characteristics of the product to more preferred in the marketplace. In this case, if you look at the tea that we are producing, for example, in Malawi, if you look at the groundnuts that a Waliranji farmer is producing, it may not be exactly the way somebody wants it. For example, if you go to Capital Hotel, and you are saying you want to Capital Hotel to sell groundnuts, they will not sell it as it is being sold at Waliranji. They would want it processed. Either they sell it through peanut butter so that somebody will apply it on maybe on their blade, or maybe as roasted groundnuts, maybe for cocktail party, something like that. So it must be changed in one way or the other so that it can suit the marketplace. So simply put, it is economically adding value to an agricultural product such as maize by processing it into a product such as flour. So you can see there we are even introducing something more to say you process it. The whole idea is you want to make it appealing to the market where you want to sell it to. I think somewhere I have, okay, before this, I just want to show you. Okay, here is the diagram. You look at the way this farmer is selling. Do you really think this is the type of product Capital Hotel will be looking for?
No.
I want to get something, otherwise I'll be talking to myself. So a little bit of feedback. No. Surely.
Getting it.
Because of you are getting, thank you very much. Because surely in that marketplace, because you look at even ShopRite, these are places where we can do a lot of business. These people are buying from South Africa simply because we are missing out on something else. So this farmer needs to learn value addition to make this product be a product that can suit a market where we are thinking to make more money. Because if you are going to sell it to ShopRite, you are going to sell it to Capital Hotel, you are going to sell it to Golden Peacock, it will fetch a higher price, and therefore it will give you a handsome profit than selling it as it is. Okay, so I'll go back a bit because I just touched there to show you the example of the groundnut I'm talking about. So in the groundnut value chain, here is just a simplified diagram. You will see down there we have a smallholder farmer, but we can also have estates. And these people, they will sell their groundnut maybe to a local market, just like the picture you were seeing there, or maybe to small-scale traders, or they can sell to farmer association like NASFARM, or they can sell to large-scale traders. But still, at this stage, there is little value added. Either they might just transport it from their village to the market, and then maybe they can transport it to another market. So just that transportation, or maybe just grading and what have you. But then it has to go into another phase of value addition, which is processing now. If at all we can concentrate, for example, on processing, we venture our areas into processing groundnut so that we can produce something different and more valuable. You will find that we can easily make some money. So there are some processes that can be there: empty groundnut shells, or paste and other products, or shelled groundnuts, or groundnut oil. So there could be several of the value addition processes that can be done to the groundnut. Those are just examples. Then when that process has been done, at that level, you move now to a layer where you can be able to sell it either to the domestic retail shops or wholesalers or any other buyer, or you can sell it to other processors who will process it further into other things as well. Or it can now fetch the international market. It can go on the export market. So it's not going to go exactly the same as it was done by a Waliranji farmer, but it will go in a different form, having been processed. And once we do this, there are a lot of opportunities. And this I'm just giving as an example in terms of the groundnut area, but this is in all other areas in terms of agriculture. Even the fish, even the broilers we are talking about, even the horticulture products, several of these vegetables, if we can process them. And actually our developed partners in their economies, I will come again with that example in America. I noted that the raw tomato was more expensive than the processed tomato. It means they have done the processing up to a higher scale, that they are enjoying so huge economies of scale, to the extent that the processed one is even cheaper to the consumer than the raw one. Okay, so if we can explore these avenues, can I find a way? There are a lot of technologies nowadays being sold, and the government is there with these institutions like ours. You look at the NRC, they will be able to sell you technology on how to process vegetable, process tomatoes, to process soya beans, to process groundnuts into further products. And the machines are available at low costs. The Chinese are able to make a number of machinery at relatively lower cost. But the idea behind is to make sure that we add value to these products, so that when we are selling them, they can fetch higher markets. Now, looking at one of the research that was conducted, which I want now to share, the prevailing areas where services are lacking. Here, picking an example of groundnut value chain. It was found out that currently there are plenty of players in the input suppliers. These people that supply seed, pest, disease management, chemicals, equipment, and the like. There are several input suppliers. Even wholesale traders, those that buy and aggregate stock for sale to larger traders, processors, and exporters, there are many. So in other words, we're trying to give you hints to say, if you want to grow, if you go into these areas, you are bound to meet heavy competition, because there are already several players. Even transporters, so many. These are the people that move produce from rural areas to the district or trading centers, hired by the farmers and what have you. Transporters, you know who these people are. And also retailers, the people who sell in small quantities to consumers. There are also so many. But the areas that are found through research, that there are very few, and these are the areas that possibly one can easily venture into and easily penetrate, because these are the services that are lacking in the value chain. And one of them is warehousing. The research found out that very few warehouses are available, and especially done by private individuals, very few. Because the whole idea is, if, for example, we're talking about those tomatoes we saw, those groundnuts we saw, the maize, whatever people are producing, for it to be preserved for future use, where will it be kept? You'll find out that there are challenges, because even this warehousing is an expensive aspect to every Jim and Jack. Somebody has to make an investment into that. You have to have security, you have to protect these from rodents, the products, you have to protect them from, different pests that can spoil the produce. So this is an area that has not yet been much penetrated in. The other area is service providers within the value chain. Here we are looking at service providers like engineering, vehicle mechanic services. When you are transporting nowadays, Malawi is flooded with these motorbikes, but do you know that these motorbikes will also need service? So are there services? The research found out that not many people have ventured into that. So with this, it is an eye-opener to say, this is one area that one can be able to look into. And then the major one is the processors. Very, very few are there to do the processing. And it is actually here that we're also trying to talk about the energy that will be used in processing. There are some that are just manual, like groundnut sharing or groundnut flour making. But there are some processes that may require use of some energy. And there we want renewable energy, because that's what is being recommended nowadays. For you to get a license to operate something, you find out that they'll be assessing all those. What is the environmental impact of your venture, of your business, of your processes? How does it impact on the environment? So if they find out that no, it will have some negative impacts, they may not license you. So we have to be very keen on how we use our processors. So much as this is a good area that we have to venture into, we must also appreciate that there are some specific challenges that have already been identified in this area. So when you're venturing into this, take note and be mindful of them and drive carefully as you maneuver around. There are difficulties with regards to standards compliance and certification with Malawi Bureau of Standards. So when you are trying to come up with a processing a facility and the mechanism, the procedure and the like, it has to comply to the standards. And the Malawi Bureau of Standards will come in and make sure that whatever you do, you engage them at early stage so that you don't get disappointed. The whole machine is planted, it wants to start, the guys come in and say, no, this machine does not meet our standards, it is emitting a lot of carbon monoxide, or it is not an environmentally, it's not using environmentally friendly technology, then it will be a problem. So check those aspects. Limited capital base to sustain year-round operations. This is one of the areas that people complain about. But the other way around is to make sure that you pull resources together and instead of working as an individual, work as a team so that you can be able to raise more capital to run throughout the year. Sometimes the processing facilities require the machines to run throughout because it becomes costly if the machines lie idle. That's why sometimes you hear people in Kanengo, the tobacco processors, they'll tell you these machines, they have to run 24 hours. Any stoppage of the machine, they'll find out which department is responsible for that stoppage. Then that department is charged because it's costly for the machine just to run idle. So you have to see if you manage to have raw materials always to run the machine. Raw material shortages are some of the constraints that those people that are already in that segment of the sector are experiencing. Sometimes insufficient volume of domestic production. The market is so small, so it's like the machines are most idle, and this is a challenge. But if you try to look at the market properly and you get a machine with the right capacity, so that it's not a high volume capacity machine, depending on the size of the market, it will be good on you. Sometimes competition from other buyers is also cited as one of the challenges that the processors face. The other one in Malawi, we have this is persistent blackouts affecting the operations. And then finally, we can also look at the price instability, especially for sunflower, due to competition from other buyers as well. So if you are operating specifically on sunflower, that has also been cited as a major challenge. So this issue of blackouts, that's why nowadays it's being encouraged that let's go for solar energy instead of just relying on hydroelectric power. This is proving to be costly and it is not enough. But if you look at using solar energy, there are some specific companies that deal in that. If one is interested, we can easily connect them. They will be able to assist looking at the capacity that you want to do and the like. They have solar powered machines even for irrigation, solar powered machines for doing these small processes and the like. So it doesn't matter whether you are out of the ESCOM grid, but you can use the solar energy. And that is something that is quite good. In terms of the groundnut, which I have said I will be using as a major example, I have given you even the opportunities that this research found out. Groundnuts have the largest potential with an export value of up to 48.4 million of all oilseed crops. So you know it is marketable. It has a market. This there are these trade treaties Malawi has signed. For example, there is AGOA with the United States government where you produce and then they are exported to America. They are exempted from some taxes and the like because there is that sort of agreement. So actually, people are not exploiting this. Sometimes I don't know whether it's because they are not exposed to them, or sheer recklessness, or not being serious about our businesses, but there are all these opportunities. We tend to sell to Burundians because we just want fast money, but if only we can wait and do this export under these agreements, we are bound to get huge benefits out of it. Value addition of groundnuts into groundnut oil can help remove proteins responsible for aflatoxins through a simple filtration process after the oil is pressed. So nowadays, people are being conscious about what they are eating and the like. So there is that what is called aflatoxins that are available in some foods. But dealing with the groundnut oil, it's easy to remove this, such that the products that you make out of your groundnuts and the like become very good products for your bodies and healthy. So the people who are healthy conscious nowadays, they would go for that because it has been properly processed that such acids will not be there. So at the end of the day, it results into a nutritious product as well as the access to value-added markets. So the moment we do that and we know this groundnut has been processed, these chemicals are out and it's very easy, we can even do it locally, it means our products will be able to fetch higher prices in those markets. It will not even be banned because they know this product coming from this country has gone through this process, therefore it doesn't have these chemicals that are not recommended. Groundnut cake obtained after pressing groundnut oil into groundnuts into oil can also be treated with clay and safely used in animal feed. And that is a practice that is followed in the United States and in the European Union. So you can see that it means we have this market, as long as we are talking about value addition by way of processing this just to suit what these people want. And for them, you know, animal feed is something serious. Sometimes we Malawians, we tend to only throw things to our animals that we have nothing to do with. But if we are serious in business, we need serious food for our animals because they will be making money for us. We need prepared food for them as well. So in this case, if we just use this and add a little bit of clay and the like, following the right processes, because this is not necessarily a technical presentation, you'll find out that we are doing something that even in America, they will buy our products because it has been processed. They will use it to feed to the animals. There is therefore a clear win-win situation in the groundnut sector for economic development, value addition, and diversification, as well as for the income and health of even rural communities. So venturing into businesses or entrepreneurship or enterprises that focus on value addition, surely you will not regret and you won't make a mistake. So as I already said, in the field of processing, that's where we are also encouraging that we need to use renewable energy and we need to use clean energy, because that's the focus that is recommended today. Another interaction, I just want to hear if you are there. Here is a check. What value can be added to this product? And what could be the processes and what could be the final product? Again, no religious issues, please. Let's just look at it from a general point of view.
Yeah, we could make some sausages from that.
You can make some sausages, yes.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Pork chops.
What chops?
Pork chops and ribs.
Maybe
we can make some bacon.
We'll wait for Amwenye because all these byproducts are being produced by Amwenye at large scale.
Amwenye, most of them don't deal with pork.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay. All right. So the whole idea, what I'm trying to say is we should now be thinking in those lines. Instead of just producing pigs, can I do something beyond that? And what could it be? And as you put it, that will add value to it and it will fetch a higher price. Much as that value addition on its own is an expense, it's a cost, but it could be taken as more or less like an investment whereby you expect a return out of that. So from the groundnuts, we can end up with the products like these. I've seen some factories, Salima, as you come from Sengabe, there's a cooperative that is doing this. So it's not something that we have to let leave our brothers or whatever today they call it, or these other companies. We can even do it as long as we get the necessary equipment. Because at the end of the day, instead of selling a groundnut, if you sell this, you find out that you get a lot. So our businesses should very much focus on value addition. So supporting integrated entrepreneurs in agriculture, there is provision of capital that we can source from different lending institutions, either revolving loan funds or low interest loans. This time they call it NIF, micro loans, venture capitals or grant funds. We could use any opportunity that can be available. But again, all these, one can easily be connected through networks as well as through these organizations to ensure that you are able to be exposed to maybe source of capital. Because what we are trying to say is, for us to do those value additions, we shall really need some capital. So there could be some, here are some of just the sources of those capital. And apart from that, the other supporting aspect for this integrated agricultural entrepreneurship would be education. So what we are doing now, for example, you are working under Flame Tree, it's something that is also in line with that, because we need education. We can't just be doing these things without understanding them, how to go about them. Even writing of a business plan, pitching your business proposal for funding or even for partnerships, and even just to market your products needs skills. And therefore, education is also very important. And there are those education institutions that would support in these particular areas, either in terms of production topics. I've talked about maybe processing of groundnuts, maybe soybeans and what have you, because Flame Tree and Luana, they are in an agreement. It means you could be exposed to these technologies. We can take you to Luana laboratories, maybe at NRC, to look at these machines, how they work, how you can do them locally, and things of that nature. So education is part of this process. So please, when you are given these, I have seen in WhatsApp, there are some assignments given. It's all meant for you to grasp the skills and then you apply them. No economy has developed without education. Entrepreneurship in America is rated as #1 country for entrepreneurship. There are always new entrepreneurs being born, being made each and every day. But it is how do they do that? It is through education. They have made their universities, their teaching institutions, even at lower levels, to make sure that they teach about entrepreneurship. So entrepreneurship is actually the engine for economic growth. So education will be part and parcel of that. So this is what I had for you this afternoon. This is where I end my presentation. I may invite questions if there are any, or some discussion issues if there are any. Maybe Chifuniro can moderate that. Thank you.
Fine. Thank you so much for such a wonderful presentation, Bernardo. It's good to hear it from an academician. Huh? Yes. Let me open the floor. If anyone has got a question, they may, just raise a hand there and we'll pick them. Yeah, sure. Anyone with a question, comment? Olivia?
Yeah.
Olivia?
Thank you. Thank you, Chifunero. Thank you, Admo, for the very interesting presentation. I liked the pictures that you showed us throughout the presentation, because they told us like a story behind the story. So for me, I was actually struck by the pictures of women in value chains. Have you maybe come across gender-related issues in value chains that might constrain women, but also how can they be solved or maybe be tackled to help women in value chains? Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Olivia. One for the sentiments about the presentation, and also that eye-opening question. Yes, it has been found out in a number of research that there are some gender issues, challenges in as far as value chain is concerned. Some are very mythical in terms of people just have their beliefs. Some basically hinge very much on economic empowerment. Most women are not economically empowered. As a result, they lack capacity to do further processing of whatever products are there. You know, we are coming from a culture where women would be treated, or girls would be treated as don't worry much about school. You'll be married, your husband will take care of you. So they would concentrate on taking to school a male child than a female child. As a result, we are having a certain age group where most women are not that educated, so that hinders them to engage in some of the economic activities. Apart from that, access to capital, maybe most of them are not working, or they don't have enough capital in one way or the other, and therefore it's difficult for them to move into these other activities. But some measures are being taken through a number of NGOs, a number of maybe even finance institutions that are targeting women to ensure that they are empowered. So yes, challenges have been there, and also mitigating steps are also available to try and address that particular challenge. Thank you.
Okay, and there's another question.
Yes, please, Martin.
Yeah, it's Enoch.
Oh, okay, I see Martin has raised his hand before you.
Okay,
so
thank you.
That is Martin.
All right, thank you. I just wanted to clarify more on what you talked about with regards to energy access and post-processing. When you mentioned about how certain organizations are able to, to supply that energy, whether it be solar or ethanol powered, for those smallholder farmers, maybe in rural areas, what, in your experience, what mechanisms have you witnessed that that can help smallholder farmers have access to energy in in these rural areas where maybe they may not have access to ESCOM? For example, if a company is offering a solar installation for maybe oil processing, and that is expensive, so how in your experience have people been able to bridge that finance gap?
Okay, thank you very much. So far, what I have seen on the ground is they are being encouraged to form a group, or be it like a cooperative, and they may get that like maybe a loan as a group. FICID has that facility, and they are one of those people that are doing that in rural areas in terms of getting irrigation power. But apart from them, I haven't, maybe unless I go back to the records, but I cannot give a very specific example. But hello?
Yeah, I can also ask, let me just jump in, Admo. Well, Martin, one of the things that Flame Tree does, it is to train rural farmers on how to convert agri-waste into energy. We are doing that. Of course, it's a program that is run by Center for Agriculture Transformation, but we are the technical advisors on that program. So we do train rural communities on how to do that using their own resources. And we have a team within our D Studio program that goes out that works with communities, helping them to install projects that will enable such rural communities to get access to electricity or energy. A good example is what we are doing with Hastings in Carter Bay. Hastings had an idea. He did some basic work. We came in, helped him in terms of mobilizing resources. Right now, his mini hydro project will power about 200 households.
All right.
So
that's impressive.
Yeah, sure. So that's what we do. Sure.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, I see another hand from let's try a woman, Maya. Let's do Maya. Yes, Maya.
Yes, thank you so much. I would like to concur with what Olivia said on gender issues. Sorry, I will take you a little bit backward. I once faced a harassment. I was like, I had to go and market my produce directly to a consumer. And then when I went there, they told me to meet the procurement team. And then when I met the procurement guy, he had to tell me, okay, can we meet later on? And then he had to give me some time, like in the evening. I had to say, no, it's not possible. If you want us to deal on these issues, can we just talk here? And then the guy was a little bit reluctant, and he still insisted that he needs to meet me privately before I start selling my produce to them. And then I just had to stay backward. I said, am I supposed to do this? And then I went to another consumer directory myself. I faced another challenge, the same kind of challenge. And then I was like, how am I gonna do my business? Am I supposed to face all these things? So sometimes when I sit down, I still feel like there is a certain of men have like an upper hand, like they have more opportunities in this agricultural sector when it comes to entrepreneurship than women. So I don't know, how do you guys at Friendly, have you ever met some kind like those kind of issues, or I don't know?
Wow. I think those are specific issues. We understand there is, gender inequality, harassment of women, culturally, traditional, I would say. So we are coming from a background where some men would love to look down upon women. It has happened politically. It has happened in different spheres of our economy. However, I think the right response to that is, how do we move from here? So they are different. I would say that we can start a conversation right here on how you think we can work together. But the best way is what the United States of America has shown us. I was looking at a certain profile of the U.S. political leadership, to say that for over maybe 200 plus, if not 100 plus years, they have never had a woman in the presidency. But just yesterday, a woman was sworn in as a vice president. Why am I picking that example? I think the best way is not to run from the place, but to face the challenge. And how do you do that? That's where the concept of innovation comes in. The concept of innovation, to say that, okay, this is a cultural issue. How do we handle it? How do we handle it? Maybe I would say that we can come up with different models on how to handle that. And it's a conversation that can take us maybe the whole evening. Now, I want the answers to come from this DELAB group. One of the exercises that we'll have is, how can we ensure that we eliminate or we reduce gender-based violence on the marketplace? I think that will be, so that will assist us. That will assist us in terms of us as members, us coming up with different solutions, and we'll be able to learn from one another. Is that okay?
Yes, that's okay.
Yeah, sure. So Maya, I would like to encourage you to say, let your experience not take you out of the marketplace. It should not. Instead, let your experience rather help you to innovate, help you to come up with some solutions on how women, maybe that should be part of your calling. Maybe you can start a social enterprise with that aspect that advocates the rights of women in the marketplace, and you can get some funding. We'll be here to support you. What do you think?
Yeah, that's okay.
That's just a business
That's
idea.
okay.
You can use your burden,
Yeah.
turn it into a business.
Yes.
So let's talk aside
Yes,
after this
that's
meeting.
true.
Yeah, sure.
All right. All right.
Thank you. Let's have the last question. Dan? Yes, please go ahead. Daniel? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. I wanted to understand. You said that Rwanda offers different services, initiatives in terms of supporting entrepreneurs with help from other institutions like Femtree and other initiatives. So I wanted to understand if Rwanda does product test like nutritional content, nutritional value before the product is certified on the market.
I know Admo would like to take that, but I think for the interest of this, would you love that we tackle that at a D studio level?
All right.
Yeah, sure. For the interest of time, and there is a response, Admo would say yes, but we wanted everybody to benefit. So I would encourage you, come to the D studio where we have got about 1 year of mentorship. And one of the things that are there is what you've just asked. You get access to the labs. He just mentioned it. Admo just mentioned it. You get all that access. But if you want to enjoy the comprehensive support from Luana, Femtree, and other partners, come to the D studio. Sure. So let's handle it at that level. Yeah, sure. Thank you. Yes. Anyone with another question? Raise your hand. Comment.
Enoch has been trying to speak.
We said that he should raise a hand, so he didn't.
He did.
Okay, then let him come in. Oh yes, Enoch, please. I see your hand.
Okay, thank you. It was a nice presentation, but my question is just a quick one on the general aspect of economics regarding to enterprise development for the early startups. With this aspect of poverty trap, mainly we poor countries, poor people to start a business from academic institutions. To unlock this business opportunity so that they should take off ground. Are there any strategies, or have you explored some aspects of poverty trap which are affecting businesses of startups in these poor countries? Because it is a big factor that has caused many businesses not to take off ground. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that question. Indeed, we were to share even the research finding for one of these researches that was conducted on small and medium enterprises. There are a number of factors that were found to that were responsible for these small businesses not to take off, or maybe to die just soon after been found is the capital. Okay, that has been the major one. Maybe as you have put it, it's because you are trapped in this poverty web. So many people are not able to have enough capital for them to sustain the operations of the business. Then thereafter comes in the issues of, because of the same poverty, our literacy levels are low, so we have poor business management skills. You know, in my presentation, I kept talking much about these Burundians. One aspect that you'll notice that is even a difference between ourselves, Malawians, and these Burundians is most Malawians want a huge profit at once, while these Burundians can still do a business with a 10 kwacha profit per product. They will do it. So in the process, they have volume, and then the profit comes big because of the volume of sales. While in us, we have very little volume of sales, but we want to make sure that with those low volume of sales, big profit. So there is that second factor, which is poor business management skills. That also has been found out, and a number of papers have been published talking about that. And that is why, if you look at the government approach this time with this NIF, is to ensure that these people get a training even before they are given the capital, because the capital on its own is not enough, but these people also need some business skills. So maybe just because of the time aspect, I can stop there. But otherwise, as my colleague has put it, I can be able to share some of these maybe later through the same forum or through Flame Tree, as some of the issues that you can also have just an interest to read and broaden your knowledge on. Thank you.
All right. I see another hand from Lusekelo. Yes, go ahead.
Yes, I just wanted to ask Adimo. I know you trying to value add needs capital. Actually, it needs assets, and we know for sure capital is always a challenge. And we know that there are already some assets on the ground, which has been given out either through donors or something like that. Maybe, for example, a plan to process tomatoes elsewhere, like at Agenda. I don't know, Rwanda being our institution in agriculture, are they able to trade? Are they able to use them? Thank you.
Thank you very much for your question. Indeed, Rwanda has those facilities, and as you have rightly put it, even the ones that are provided by donors or the ones that have just been bought under Rwanda itself, under this Flame Tree initiative and Rwanda arrangement, you will be exposed to this at a certain stage, but they are there. Some of them, indeed, they are not easy for one individual to purchase on their own, to use them at their own place, but they will be able to use these. For example, under the incubation, what we do is they will be using the facility and pay a small token, like more or less like we can call it a rent, but it's a very small charge, just to ensure that the machines are able to be maintained and serviced. But you can, for example, be able to bring in your own raw materials. The machines will be used to process your products. You come out of Rwanda with your packaged product having been processed under that particular facility. So yes, Rwanda has those facilities, but possibly, as the Flame Tree are saying through Chifuniro, these can be exposed to at a later stage, but there is that arrangement between Rwanda and Flame Tree where you people, you'll be able to have access to such facilities. Thank you.
In other words, stick around, Bana. Stick around. Stick around.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. D studio. Attend every session.
Okay,
here.
thank you.
So the way to the D studio is, you know, we see who is attending, who is participating, is doing the exercises, and then the final project. And then we admit you into a hybrid incubation program, a 12-month hybrid incubation program, which we do in partnership with Rwanda. You have access to all these things. Sure. All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. All right, unless there's another question, but this marks the end of our today's session. Bernardmo, thank you so much for this nice presentation. I've received a message from WhatsApp from one of the ladies here to say they want to be part of this movement. They say advocating for women's rights, advocating for whatsoever. I will let the women lead such kind of a movement. So maybe it should be Maya and Wezi, because you are the ones who have started it. Well, I would say have your meeting and come back to us with suggestions, and then we'll take it from there. We are ready to support you, and even men on this group are ready to support you. That, just to encourage you, that can be a unique movement. I think, and I think Luana would be there as well. There are a number of researches that have been done at Luana. They'll be willing to assist, to support you. So please, we are ready to support you, but start it. It should not be us starting. Start it, please. Sure. So that's in your hands, ladies, on this one. Sure.
Thank
Maya.
you. Do that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you all, and thank you for your feedback. I was not able to read the chat, but now I just opened it. I can see a lot of feedback. So thank you very much. We shall be together and keep the fire burning.
Awesome. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. This marks the end of the program. Daniel, do you have another question?
Yes.
Okay.
It's not a question. It's just a comment to add more.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
It's just a comment, a final comment.
Mm-hmm.
I thank you for that Rwanda has done several research in terms of agro entrepreneurship in Malawi, challenges, what we can do and how we can go ahead. But I could encourage them as Rwanda as an institution also to work hard with their graduates, because I know that they train several, they graduate a lot, thousands each and every year. But those thousands will only depend to get employed somewhere else. They end up being a teacher. We call it IEDOs, technicians, others, project officers. But their knowledge, we can start something and employ others. So I could add more, also to engage, to do a certain research on who are doing something else out of what they'll get trained from one, either NRC or Bunda, and support them in terms of technical and other issues. So WANA is really doing a great work, but also they should not forget their past students in terms of agro entrepreneurship. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Daniel. Thank you. Thank you. Well, unless someone has got another question. Hey, we haven't heard for some people. Paul. Anna Paul.
Hello.
Yes. I'm
Can
saying
you hear
that
me?
we missed your voice today.
No, it means the program was or the presentation was spot on, and it was very clear. I've taken some notes, and just to thank the presenter for the eloquent presentation. We will follow through. Otherwise, quite eye-opening as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Well, thank you, everybody. This marks the end of our today's session. Next week, we'll concentrate more on the business side of your social enterprise. So get ready for exciting presentation, and we'll finish our the last session will be on how can you pitch your business ideas, and you'll be given an exercise, individual exercise, to present a project based on what you've learned here. So you should be getting ready, go through the group assignments, and then From there, we'll have somebody saying that he's not hearing anything. It's okay. Well, from there, we'll have our final assignment. That will be individual assignment. I would like to encourage everyone here, please have a YouTube channel. Have a YouTube channel. It's so easy. If you have got challenges in doing that, I'm available. I'll be able to assist you. You should have a YouTube channel because we'll ask you to upload a video on your YouTube channel. And then we'll mark that whether you should proceed into this studio program or not. But we look forward to having everybody on this group in our this studio program. Thank you for your participation. Thank you for your availability. We wish you a wonderful weekend. Expect a group assignment in a few minutes' time. Thank you.
Zikomo, Zikomo.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
So you can. Thank you.
Asante.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Asante, asante.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Okay, bye-bye. Maya, don't go. Maya, where's
Yes.
Matilda? Olivia, women in this,
Okay.
don't go.
All right.
Yes, we should tackle this thing right away. Head on. Okay, yes, Natasha, stick around. Guys, our fellow ladies on this group, I would like to share with you to say you have just started a very, I would say, a very critical conversation, critical discussion. And if we can take this up as a group, I'm telling you, we can get the necessary support. We can get the necessary support. It can be a wonderful partnership. But here's a challenge I've always had working with women. Number one, you always expect men to lead. Something that is to help you, but we expect men to lead. And the other thing is the passion to drive such kind of movements is there just for a short time. A short time. We have worked with several women, I mean, including networking them to other ladies groups in Nigeria. Another group we connected with even to Zambia, to I think to Netherlands. But once we give them an opportunity to say, hey, can you carry this on? You just wonder that the conversation does not proceed. So, wow, Maya, you came out boldly, narrating the problem. But as I've said, last evening, a woman has taken a challenge, almost leading second in command over one of the greatest economies in the world, the United States. So let's not focus on the challenge now. Let's focus on building a movement that will provide solution. Remember, theory of change. So I want you guys aside to meet up, initiate a conversation, build a team, start a movement, give us a write-up to say, from the DELAB, this issue came out, and this is what we have agreed. Tell us how you'll be meeting, how often you'll be meeting, what is your action plan, what will be your work plan, weekly work plan, monthly, what do you intend to achieve by the end of this year? This is just January. It's good that you have started the conversation this time. So what is your plan and how do you want us to assist you? We want that clear concept presented to us. I would like to challenge you. It should be by next week, Friday. Present it to us, and then we know that you are serious. And you give us who will be leading, what will be the responsibility of who. Guess what? One of the D Studio graduate is Barbara Banda. You know, Barbara is a national coordinator for NABIWI. She's the national coordinator for gender whatsoever. She's in different forums. We can take you to her. She'll be happy to support you. Of course, together with Femtree. But what we want is not just rhetoric, we want action. That's my plea to you. Thank you. Any response?
Thank you so much.
Yes, Wezi. Yes, I'm listening.
Okay, thank you so much. I think for us women, those of us that have been at least in business for some time, or have interacted with women, and maybe with work experience in dealing with issues of advocacy, I think I've put up a comment. The issues are real on the ground. And we are passionate because we can't just we can't just sit and see these things continuing to happen. We need to do our part as women. So we are ready for it. We'll team up and work together. We'll bring up the concept as you've said. Thank you.
Wow, thank you. Anyone with a comment?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, and it's very painful when we face such kind of challenges, and I really want to say that we can't keep on being suffering like the way we do our things as women, what we face, the harassment and everything. And this movement, I really believe and I hope that it's gonna work out. It's gonna be for the best, and we are going to bring out the results. And I'm sure we're going to create a WhatsApp group for the women in this forum. Thank you.
Awesome. Yes, Matilda or anyone else with a comment? Olivia.
Yes, I'd like just to comment that it is a good challenge. We'll take it head on.
Okay. Now there is a discussion, the discussion that Enoch has presented on our WhatsApp group. I think Olivia has seen that, so she has commented, which I wish to contradict. On the business front, I'm young, but at least I started business 2009 when I was just a university student, Chancellor College. My experiences have been in several forums where women are advocating for equality. But let me tell you, once men show up to lead, the initial goals for forming such kind of initiatives don't proceed. So I want to challenge women in this group. Lead. Lead. It's your passion. It's your burden. Lead. In leading, incorporate men. I always say, great leaders, they are the ones who achieve results through other people. So work with men as just a means to attain to the end, not as the end themselves. That would be my comment. I see Martin is here.
Thank you.
Yes, Olivia, do you have any comment on what I've said?
I can't subtract it. You have said it very well.
Yes, sure.
I just wanted to add in and say that what you're talking about in a way, yes, and to just also say that for those people that have maybe worked in an NGO setup, there are certain safeguards that are also applied, and it would be great to incorporate whatever it is that you guys come up with, and to bring it up forward to the group as well, so that anyone who has a contribution can be able to do so, not necessarily in a leading role, because as Chief Uniro said, things tend to get complicated once men get to the forefront. But if people can be able to provide the information that we have, the resources that we have to push this forward, then I think that would be such a great initiative.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. We look forward to one thing I can tell you, ladies, challenge us. Okay. Please challenge us. Do something that has not been done. Thank you so much.
We will. Thank you.
Okay. Looking forward to receiving your
Thank you.
concepts.
So we look forward to the WhatsApp group. Thank you very much.
You know, when he reached the point of saying that he's willing to support a DELAB that is just for women.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Wow. That's great.
Listen to me. And do you know who can be facilitators on that DELAB? It can be you. So prove to us that you are capable of doing. Because one of the things that has been challenging is people are fighting for equality, more especially in Malawi. They are fighting for equality, but they are not qualified. So prove yourself. Prove yourself. Come with challenge us. We are here. We will support you. Challenge us.
Yeah. That's amazing. We are going to do that.
Okay. Come up with something. Come up with a challenging paper. I'm telling you, you'll see Luana coming up. Do you know the head of agribusiness department at Luana? Or let me say, even the head of Agribusiness Hub at Luana. In fact, she's a woman, Dr. Sarah Gondry. I'm telling you, if you can come up with a convincing concept, we present it to her, you'll fly. Once again, let it not be rhetoric, action. Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Yes, thank you so much. And good
Thank
evening.
you. Good evening.
So ladies, before you go, can we have Maya to form the group for us, please?
Yes, I'll do that.
Not
Okay,
tomorrow,
thank
Maya.
you.
Soon after the
Today, soon.
Soon, yes, do that. And
yes,
I should not be there
I'll do that.
I should not be there.
Yes, it will be strictly for ladies.
Awesome. All right, thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yes, Bwana Masamba. Sorry, I had to coordinate with Janet session because it might be delayed and then fucking now. Yes, sure. Well, I would say that I think there are several ways that we can take this up. Maybe we do it maybe next week. Tizangoyika a short presentation indeed. But would love it to be one. Would love it to be tikugwire nishati inuyo tikugwire nishati tiendelee nanu limozi. isakhale yongonena kuti apapa poti zinativuta iyayi. Ndinamva kwanzanga Dumi anakutchulanso ni dzina anakutchulani dzina ndithu za value additions. Ndithu nde we should do that. Ndekuti next week Tuesday.
Okay.
Yes, next week Tuesday. Mungopanga ka 20 minutes kena kali. Ndithu post. Komanso ineyo asogoleri ndikupanga nawonso ulimi omwewo. Sinanganoti samango phunzira kuluwana kucha. Ndikupanga nawo ulimi ndi farm about 24 acres kumadisi. And we have got, like during rainy season, and produce a lot of mbatata kwatu. Amapanga kwambiri things like you talk of nteja. Zukumaita kusowa misika zina zukumaola kumene, and during winter cropping ijende kumatuka tomato osati wazibwana. Moti nundife sitingapange patena.
So let's maybe find ways how we can work together beyond even assignment.
Ineyo ndimaona choncho. I'll send you an email. Yeah, separate imeneyo osati assignment yathu ya. Ndithu bwana. But in a special way, I want to say thank you. It was